This is Jim on the Air.
Jim on the Air.
Jim on the Air.
Jim on the air.
Jim on the Air. On the Air.
Jim on the air.
Jim.
On the Air.
Jim on the air.
With your host.
With your host.
Jim Sirianni. Jim Sirianni. Jim Sirianni.
Jim Sirianni.
Jim Sirianni.
With your tiny little host, with your host.
Jim Sirianni. Jim Sirianni. Hi, it's Jim. Hi, and welcome to another edition of Jim on the Air. I'm Jim Sirianni, your host with the most. I'm contractually obligated to use that joke every single time until I come up with something better. But thank you so much for joining us today on the show. And boy, do I have a fun guest today on Jim on the Air. But before I introduce my guest, I just want to get all the business out of the way. Of course, this is Jim on the Air, and it's available on many different platforms. You might be watching on YouTube. And if you are, I would love it if you liked and subscribed and shared the video. It'd be fabulous if you could do that. And it's also available in audio form on Spotify, Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public, just to name a few. And so those platforms are also available for the show. And so Jim on the Air, my guest this time around is Ben Ferguson, who I've worked with before, and very excited to chat with him today. Ben has had his own talk show called The Evening Show with Ben Ferguson. And of course, he's an actor, and he and I we did Christmas Carol together and also Calamity Jane in Carpinteria at the Alcazar Theater. And now he is a game show host, and he has his own game show, which is very cool here locally in the Santa Barbara area. It's called Dude, You're Making a Scene. And they're going to have a live version of the show at the Alcazar Theater in October 22nd, 3 p.m. on a Saturday. And they're hoping to have contestants and a huge audience to participate. It'll be a lot of fun. And welcome to Jim on the Air, Ben Ferguson. It's good to see you today.
Thank you very much, Jim. It's very, very, very exciting to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So before we talk about Dude, You're Making a Scene, tell me a little bit about your background. I know I mentioned that you did the evening show with Ben Ferguson. How did you get involved with entertainment in the first place?
Well, it got to I think when I was in my early 40s, I realized I really always wanted a talk show, and I figured now's the time to do it. So I just went down to the local Channel 17 and just bombarded my way in. And back then, you had to volunteer for another show. You had to be a cameraman for 6 months, and you had to be a lighting man for 6 months, and you got to know everybody, and that's how you started your own show. So I did that. I was a cameraman, and I was a lighting person. And I finally got my show, and it was so exciting. And that's where I met you. And I met a lot of actors in town, because that's who I had. The majority of my guests at that time were people who were going to be in a play or production, coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'd have them on my show, and I got to know everybody that way.
Very cool. And then, so you had the evening show with Ben Ferguson, and then also you did a couple spinoffs. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I had one actress on the show. And the night before, I have an actor on. I Google them. I get as much as I can. I used to get pictures of them. I try to surprise them with different things, And this one actress had a couple of scenes from a movie where it was a real dramatic part. And she shot at some guy and just nicked him on the side of the head. And I called her up and I said, listen, tomorrow when you come on the show, would you be okay if we acted out that scene, in the middle of our conversation? And she said, yes. So after we did that, that was so much fun. At that very moment, I decided I'm going to change the show's format. I'm going to have my actors come on for the first 15 minutes. We'll chat like you and I are doing now. And then the second 15 minutes, we're going to do a skit of some kind. And that's where I started Pine Valley Medical. I decided it was going to be like a hospital soap opera, and I was going to be Dr. Ferguson. And I was going to be a good doctor, but I was going to be kind of a clumsy, fumbling doctor. The TV station allowed me to use basically their office area after 5 o'clock, and I turned it into a hospital. So the first half of the show was the interview, and then we just walked over and did the skit And then after a while, the interviewing kind of got old. I was into this writing and script writing and buying all the props and doing the shows. So that's how Pine Valley Medical started. And that's when you and I worked, I think, on Calamity Jane back then.
Yeah.
And I was honest, I was mesmerized by your part in Buffalo Bill. And I'm like, that guy is going to be Boss Hogg. And we lived in Pine Valley, is a little fictitious town. And I think we got you in as Boss Hogg as the mayor of Pine Valley. And that was a really cool part. I remember it vividly when you came in because you ad-libbed it. You did really, really well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing that because as opposed to doing acting on stage, when you do something with film or with television, you can do several takes. So you can,
right.
If you mess up, you can kind of go, oh, well, that's okay. We'll shoot it again. So for me, that was a lot of fun. I loved playing the mayor of Pine Valley.
I enjoyed the plays, but after a couple plays, I mean, when you have to go down there and go down there 3 times a week and rehearse and do that for 7 weeks, to me, I'm like, I just want to do a show. I don't want to rehearse that much. So that's kind of how I got into Pine Valley Medical. But anyway.
Right. And then from Pine Valley Medical, then you also did a police drama, didn't you?
A police drama, yeah. I decided when I decided on Pine Valley Medical, it was either going to be a cop or a doctor. And so after I did the doctor for a while, I'm like, now it's time to be a cop. So I called it Precinct, and we had Cammie Helmuth. She was my, we called her Bulldog on the show. She was my partner. We had so much fun on that. We went down to the beach and we did a lot of footage down by the marina. We were chasing murders and stuff like that. And we did about probably about a dozen shows of Precinct. And then after that, I decided, remember the show called Hazel?
Hazel, I'm not sure if
I don't know if you remember that. You were a little tiny kid, or maybe you weren't even born yet. I saw reruns when I was a kid. It was Shirley Booth. She played Hazel, kind of a boisterous, large lady, and she was a maid for a family without a mom, but a dad and a couple of kids.
Oh, okay.
And so I met this lady who would be a perfect Hazel, and so I decided I'm going to write a show where I'm going to be a very successful actor living in Bel Air with 2 adult daughters living with me and have Hazel as the maid. And that got it was really fun to do. We had Amber Shannon. She was one of my daughters. Alexis Bird was the other daughter. But we rented a house and it got to a huge production. And I pretty much, buying all the props, I love doing it, but it just got way, way, way too much. And then COVID hit. So we had to pretty much stop everything.
Right.
But then when COVID hit, I started thinking about this game show. And I know, the one show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Everybody knows that show.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I like that show a lot. But then I was talking to a friend of mine and I thought, what if we do this? What if we have 2 contestants and we have 4 improv actors and we choose the setting in which the scene will take place? And so let's say you're a contestant. You come on, and I'm going to say, Jim, meet your actors. And there are 4 actors. I'll introduce them to you. And then I'll say, this is your setting for the scene. And it'll be a lavish Hollywood party. Let's say that's your setting. And then I'm going to pull out a prop that you're going to have to use. And if I pull out $100,000, right, I'm going to say, now what you and your partner have to do, go back within 10 minutes, write a 5-minute scene with your actors at a Hollywood party using this cash. And so the idea is we were going to have the same actors, the same prop, the same setting, but it was going to be coming from 2 very different vantage points. So the outcome was going to be very different. And that's the fun of the show. Anyway, that's what we're going to be doing at the Alcazar. We're going to pull the audience. We're going to pull, my idea is anybody can be a creative writer, whether you're a 50-year-old lady serving food at the high school or whatever you are, we'll get a story out of it.
Right.
So we're going to pull a couple of the people out of the audience, and they're going to go back and they're going to write a scene. It's going to be a lot of fun. During the time at the show, we're going to be giving away a lot of prizes. We're going to give away a lot of money. I'm going to go out in the audience like Johnny Carson used to do, and we're going to, while they're writing the script, people will be telling me jokes, and we'll give them free dinners for 2s for the restaurants in Carpinteria that have donated.
Oh, nice.
Dinners. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm trying to get as many people as I can to go. I guarantee if you go, you'll have a really good time because I'm gonna make sure. My main thing is I want people to walk out of there with a big fat smile on their face.
Right. Oh, my gosh, That's gonna be a lot of fun. And again, I'm chatting with Ben Ferguson, and Ben has created a game show called Dude, You're Making a Scene, and they're going to do a live version of it at the Alcazar Theater in Carpinteria. It'll be October 22nd at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. Again, October 22nd, 3 p.m. at the Alcazar. And if people want to go, Ben, how do they buy tickets, or how do they go?
Yeah, the tickets, you can get them at Alcazar. You can't get them quite yet. You'll be able to get them at the end of the week. I think we're trying to price them. We're trying to keep them cheap, like $10, something like that. We're going to be giving away, I'll just show you. We're going to be giving away a lot of Dude, You're Making a Scene t-shirts.
Oh, fun.
And even some Dude, You're Making a Scene hoodies.
Very cool. Nice.
So when I was a kid, I loved acting and I loved game shows. So this show we're doing is going to be every little thing that I loved when I was a kid. So I'm going to try to keep it as entertaining as I can and give away prizes and keep everybody happy and have fun. And I don't know how much, are we running close on time?
Oh yeah, no, we're good.
Okay, good. So it's going to be exciting for everybody. We did one show, a practice show, and the actors had an incredibly good time because it's fun. I mean, there's no wrong. Even if you screw up, it's funnier. You know what I mean? So there's really no way to go wrong. And if you're a contestant, you're going to walk away there a bona fide script writer, and you're going to have your own scene that's going to be on YouTube and TikTok, and it's going to be streamed live from Ventura all the way up to San Luis Obispo. So you're going to walk into the theater, your regular self, and you're going to leave a bona fide scriptwriter who wrote a scene, and it's going to be on. Yeah, it's exciting. Everybody has a lot of fun, and I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I bet you are, and it'll be a lot of fun. One thing though, I was wondering then is, do you think you'll have contestants who are kind of already placed, just in case the audience members don't want to do it or something, or do you have?
Well, that's a great question, because that's the only thing I'm planning everything. I was going to get a t-shirt gun, those things that shoot the t-shirts out, or hit a couple of tennis balls out into the crowd and use those people for contestants. But there is the option of them maybe not wanting to be a participant.
Right.
So I haven't quite figured that out yet. I still might hit the tennis balls out in the audience. And if you do catch one and you do want to be a contestant, then come on up. And you're going to win a minimum of $100. So and it's going to be so much fun. I think we're going to have a couple of surprises before we start. We're going to have a couple of a real good friend of mine who's a comedian. Hopefully, it's going to be so fun. Everybody's going to want to be a participant. But
right.
So I want to make it so it's not pre-planned. So it's going to be. Of course. I want to show you that I can make anybody a star. They can write their own scene, and they can be funnier than you know what.
Right. That'll be fun. So then, okay. So when the contestants are picked to write a scene, how much time do they have to write it?
Okay, so the contestants are going to come running up with me. I'm going to introduce them both. I'm going to introduce them to the 4 actors. I'm going, and right there, there's this big screen on the stage, and it's projected from the rear. And I'm going to say, this is your setting in which your scene will take place. And like I said, Hollywood Party or the library or the DMV or whatever it is. So they're going to have a little book in front of them with a pen, and they're going to take notes, and we're going to show them the prop. Right after we do that, they're going to go into the back. They're going to go backstage. They have 10 minutes apiece to sit with the actors and tell them what the actors are going to do.
Okay,
now, and the actors are under instruction. They can go crazy, with being an improv actor, like going way over the top, but they have to do what the person says. So whatever the story is, whether it's a murder mystery or a love scene or whatever the story is, they have to stand by what the contestant does. While they're doing that, I'll be out in the audience. We'll be giving away prizes and stuff like that. So as soon as that's done, we'll bring them back on stage. There's going to be no rehearsing. We'll take the first actor, we'll prop him up on a director's chair right in front of the screen. And the actors will get in there. We'll yell action. We'll get a camera, and we're going to go up and do a tight shot and film the 5-minute scene. And then as soon as they're done with that, we'll get the next contestant. He'll get up on the chair. He'll yell action. We'll do his show.
Okay.
And when they're done with that, we'll have the audience choose who wins the catch, who wrote the better script.
Right.
And then they'll be paid off in cash, and then we'll shoot some more people, get 2 more contestants out, and we'll do the same thing.
And then so you'll have okay, so each contestant gets 2 actors, right?
They get 4 actors. So
Oh, okay.
when the first contestant sits with the 4 actors, the other contestant is going to be just sitting, waiting, right, for his turn.
Oh, okay.
So the 10 minutes with, and I think 10 minutes is all we need with the actors to go over the storyline and do like a table read, that kind of thing. Then boom, we get the next actor. He
Or the
does
next
his
you mean the
show.
next contestant? The next
Right.
contestant.
The next
Okay.
contestant, excuse me.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that's done, we just get them back on stage and we film the scene.
Okay. So each contestant gets the same 4 actors, but
You
it'll
get the
be
same 4 actors, the same setting in which the scene will take place,
right.
and they must implement whatever prop that I pull out to use. They must write that in the story, whether it's a diamond ring or a pile of cash or a pair of dark glasses, whatever it is. They have to write it in to make it
Into the
relevant
script.
in their scene.
And both contestants will have the same prop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So
that's the
whether
idea. We're going to hopefully have 2 vastly different outcomes, and that's where the comedy is. That's where the fun is.
Okay. Oh,
And
fun.
so it's going to be fun. I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to put you on the spot, but you don't have to answer right now. I would love it if you were one of the 4 improv actors. But I
Oh, that'd
know
be
you told me
fun.
before we started the show how busy you are. Think about it, because I think you would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be fun. I
And
would love I've been wanting to do some kind of improv for a long time. I'll have to check my schedule on the
yeah,
22nd. It's a Saturday, so I don't think off the top of my head if I have anything, but yeah, it would be fun if I can make it work, it'd be great.
I remember when you played the mayor, and you were doing more than improv there. I think you would be fantastic because it's your opportunity to go way over the top, and just
Yeah,
just
yeah.
go nuts. I would love to be an actor myself in this situation, but I'm going to be
But
posting.
you'll be hosting. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to show you. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
So
And
this
for
was
those
when we did Calamity Jane and I had my talk show with
yeah,
my dark hair, and then
right.
there you are over here.
On the side, yeah.
Yep.
And
And
for
then we
those who
have
are listening to the podcast, Ben's showing me a picture, and those of you watching on YouTube, obviously you can see it, but it's from when we did Calamity Jane, and we went on the evening show with Ben Ferguson to talk about Calamity Jane and the whole cast. But that's a great picture. I love
I
that
remember
picture.
doing that show. It was a fantastic show. I mean, we were proud of that Calamity Jane. That was one of the best things I've ever been part of, I think.
Yeah, yeah. That
I,
was a great show.
yeah.
It was a
I
lot of
remember
fun.
one time it was funny because I kind of got a little full of myself because I was a full on cowboy.
Yeah.
After the shows, how the actors kind of go up into the audience.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
after one of the shows, I go walking up, as a cowboy. I'm waiting for people to grab for me and ask for my autograph. And this one man comes up to me and he said, "Hey," and I said, "Yes." And he said, "Can you tell me that one lady's name who played the young lady who grew up to be?" And I said, "That's Ming Holden." And he goes, "She was absolutely amazing." And I was so let down that he wasn't, there to talk to me. I'm like, "Yeah, but she's terrible to work with." And then I just kept. I thought that was kind of funny. But
That's
anyway,
funny.
I talked to her not too long ago, and I was thinking maybe if we could, wouldn't it be fun to get a reunion of Calamity Jane to be the improv actors on that show?
That'd be fun. Yeah,
That would
that'd be
be
cool.
fun.
Yeah. So
Well,
where are you hoping to take the show from here? Are you hoping to make it like a regular show uh,
yeah. So
on
I've
TV,
talked to a
or
couple
what
of
do you want?
board members. I've had several meetings with the big shots over at the Alcazar Theater, which
Yeah.
is one of the most beautiful theaters in town. It's historic. I think it was built in 1931, something like that. So if you've never been there, it's in Carpinteria on just off of Linden Avenue, and it is beautiful. It holds 200 people. A lot of people don't know it exists, but they told me, "Hey, if this works out and everybody loves it, can you come back and do it on a regular basis?" And I'm like, "Oh, for sure I can."
Oh,
So
that'd be great.
whether it's once a month or once every 2 weeks or anything, thereabouts, I'm definitely
Yeah.
available, and I would love to. The one time we did do it, everybody had fun. So I'm thinking I'm hoping it's going to be a smash success.
And so it would be something that you would do like once or twice a month at the Alcazar, and then it'll be air on local television.
It'll air on 17, yep, channel 17. It'll air on TikTok. The little 5-minute scenes will be cut out and they'll be put on TikTok, which is kind of neat. Also
Oh,
be
okay.
shown on YouTube. It'll be live streamed. Alcazar has a live streaming from Ventura to San Luis Obispo. It'll be played 4 times a week on channel 17. So it'll get a good amount of airplay.
Oh, nice. And
So yeah, if you never thought you could write, you never thought you had anything creative in you, and you come to the show and you get picked, I mean, you're going to surprise yourself and everybody else because you're going to write a crazy scene and it's going to be funnier than heck.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
And you're going to win money and shirts and hoodies. And there's, like I said, there's a couple of surprises I can't mention, but I'm really excited about them.
Right. So, Ben, when you were growing up, what was your favorite game show that you used to watch as a kid?
I had a few favorites. I mean, Let's Make a Deal obviously was fun to watch.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, the funny ones like Match Game. I really liked Match Game with Gene Rayburn. That was really funny. Yeah. There's one on now that I really like. It's called I can't remember the name. There's 6 comedians and there's 2 contestants. It's kind of similar. It's like the cousin of what I'm doing. And they asked the comedian a question, and I think the comedian's probably already heard the question, so he has a funny answer. I think it's called Your Story or something like that. But I guess probably one of my favorite shows was the Hollywood Squares. I really like that.
Hollywood Squares was one of that one and Match Game were 2 of my favorites because I liked.
Yeah, those were when things started to get funny and game shows became really fun. But they're making a huge comeback.
They really are. Because there's Pyramid, $100,000 Pyramid is back on. And then
Family
you also
Feud.
Family Feud.
I watched it last night. And now that I'm doing this, I'm like, well, now I'm looking at the host, seeing how they're doing. But this guy is really funny. The guy that's doing Family Feud right now.
Steve Harvey.
Yeah. I mean, really funny. And they let him go because he does things that you're like, what? What did he just say? But they're giving him a little bit of rope to be Steve Harvey, which is making it a success, I think.
Yeah, which is making it great. I would love to see them do a new version of Hollywood Squares. That'd be fun.
I was going to go to Channel 17. I was trying to get, I was going to do Password for 15 minutes and then What's My Line for 15 minutes and do a half-hour show of, what's my line, where you blindfold the people and have a special, like a local dignitary or somebody.
Yeah,
anyway,
that'd be fun.
I'm working on that stuff. There's a few shows in my head at all times that I really want to do because they're so much fun. You came to Pine Valley Medical. You had fun.
Oh yeah. No, it's a lot of fun, especially when you can do the improv stuff and not have to worry about. Well, you have like a script, but it's nice to be able to improv and do something kind of off the cuff, and then just see what makes it into the actual show on television.
Right. Well, the nice thing about the Pine Valley Medical is everybody there was it seems like there was no egos whatsoever. I mean, I don't remember ever having a problem with anybody, maybe once or twice, but overall, all the actors were so excited to be there. And they were so, I was just blessed to even have them there. And I made them feel that way, or tried to anyway. And everybody just had a lot of fun. And that's what made it a success, I think, is we were all equal.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were just there to have fun and not worry about anything else. So, Ben, not to put you on the spot, but one thing I do on my show is I have a couple of 1 or 2 random questions that I like to ask my guests, and there's nothing too serious or anything. It's not Meet the Press or Face the Nation or anything like that. It's just fun questions. I hope you don't mind if I ask you 1 or 2.
I don't mind at all, but I just got to tell you, yesterday I went to Costco and I had a COVID shot and a flu shot. So they injected me on either side, so I can't be held responsible what I say.
for what comes out of your mouth.
With your question. I'm riddled with disease right now.
The first question I have, and I'll see if I have time for another one, is what's the favorite thing you've bought this year?
The favorite thing of what?
What's the most favorite thing that you've bought this year?
Favorite thing that I bought this year. I want to be funny with my answer, but probably a patio set. I got a really good deal on a really nice patio set.
Nice.
So far, that's probably the number one thing.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. And what kind of patio set is it?
You know what? It's at Costco. If you go to, they don't have them now because I got really lucky. So at Costco, they had these ones. I can tell you, there was $1,600, kind of expensive. But if you look at the cheaper ones, they're not comfortable.
Right.
And so Costco's rule is, if you ever see them on sale later, they'll give you the difference. So I got the nicer ones, and the other day I just saw it was $400 off, and they just gave me $400 back on my card like that. That's why I go to Costco, because they're just, you're getting the right stuff.
Yeah.
You're not wondering. It's not like CVS where you buy one, get 15%. It's a big smoke and mirror magic trick. Look, man, I just want to buy a paper towel. I don't want a Monopoly card or anything else,
Right.
Anyways, yeah, Costco, go to Costco for all your stuff. That's my PSA for today.
Fabulous. And then, so what color is the, do you have cushions?
It's gray. I created a patio. I guess that's what I did this year. I made a large patio in my backyard. It's gray. I guess it's floral, but it's not loud. It's kind of, I
like a
wanted to
subtle
make
print.
sure it was comfortable. So I sat in the seat and it rocked, and it was just, it's nice. I mean,
Nice.
I'm quite happy with it. And I bought one of those big, huge gazebos and put
Oh, a
that
gazebo.
over it. So that's my favorite. That's the answer to your question is, I
Nice.
guess it
Very
is the
cool.
whole backyard patio.
Gosh, well, that's great. Well, congratulations on the new patio set. I love
Thank
it.
you. Do I
Maybe
get
you
another
can maybe
question?
you can give away a patio set during your show sometime in the future. Like
Yeah,
the
I'd like to give away a new car.
Yeah, wouldn't that be
It's going to
great?
be either a car or a hoodie. It's going to be one of the two. I don't
Yeah,
know yet.
a hoodie or a car,
Yeah,
So
leaning
it's like
towards the hoodie, but we never know.
you never know. Well, we're just about out of time. I want to ask you some more questions, but we're just about out of time. But before we go,
Hmm?
I just want to make sure we get all the information out there about your show, and it's called Dude, You're Making a Scene. It'll be at the Alcazar Theater in Carpinteria, October 22nd at 3 p.m. It's a Saturday.
Correct.
And if you want to go, you can. Well, the tickets aren't quite up just yet, but you can contact the Alcazar for ticket information.
Yeah, actually, by the time this is on and running, the tickets very well may be available. So you can go to alcazar.com and see if the tickets are there.
Awesome.
But
And
we
that's
do plan on selling out, so please get your tickets early.
yeah. So get your tickets early. Alcazar.com is the website. And you can get your tickets to the website, alcazar.com. And again, it's called Dude, You're Making a Scene. It'll be October 22nd, 3 p.m. at the Alcazar. And please go. And then, Ben, before I let you go, is there anything else we want to get out that we haven't covered yet? Any other information?
My question: has anybody ever told you, dude, you're making a scene?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So
No, I've been
I've
that
asked a
person.
few people that, and they said no. But I mean, I grew up hearing that, so that's kind of, I guess, close to my heart anyway. The name
Yeah.
of the show.
No, I've been told in the past, because I have kind of a loud voice, and so I've had people say, "Dude, you need to be
Dude, you're
quiet.
making.
You're
Yeah,
making."
yeah, gotcha. Yeah, at a party, a couple too many drinks or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Jim, I like I said, you have an open invitation if you want to come in and do your Buffalo Bill stuff on the stage with us on the 22nd.
That'll be
Um,
fun. Yeah, if it
I,
works
I,
out. Yeah.
yeah, I really appreciate. I want to let everybody know I called Jim and asked him to be on his show because I saw his show and it was such a good show. And when you
Oh,
said
thank
yes,
you.
I really really appreciated it.
Great. Well, thank you. And then, yeah, I think it'll be fun. I just have to check my schedule. I know I've got some stuff coming up in October, so I need to make before I commit. But it would be fun if we can work it out. I'd love to do it. Sounds like it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds good enough to me.
Awesome. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us today on the show, and good luck with Dude, You're Making a Scene, and with all the other adventures that you have going on. And thanks for being with us.
Jim, thank you very much, and thank everybody out there for listening to me for the
And
last
my
25 minutes.
pleasure. And then, if you want to know what I'm up to, the show, of course, is called Jim on the Air, and it's available on YouTube, as well as that's the video version, of course, on YouTube. And then the audio version is available on Spotify, Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, just to name a few. And you can also learn more about it, what I'm up to, on my website, jimsuriani.com. That's Jim Suriani, SIRIANNI.com. And thank you all so much for joining, for
I have one
listening.
last question.
Oh, yeah,
I
sure. Go
tried
ahead.
looking you up on TikTok. How does somebody find you on TikTok?
Oh, it's Jim on the Air.
Jim on the Air. Okay, good.
Jim on
Because
the
I was
Air.
looking for you last night and I looked up Sirianni and I couldn't do it. Jim on the Air. So if
Yeah.
you're listening, go to TikTok and watch Jim on the Air because it's
Yes.
a flash that.
Yes, and thank you for reminding me. Yes, it is on TikTok. I just recently started to put videos on TikTok as well. So that's another platform that you can check out, TikTok. And again, it's Jim on the Air. Also on social media, it's Jim on the Air on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
You're everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. Everywhere you want to be. But again, Ben, thank you so much for joining us. And everybody, thank you for listening and watching. And we will catch you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. This has been Jim on the Air. Jim on the Air is the show about anything and everything. So if you'd like to be a part of Jim on the Air, or you have an idea for a topic, shoot me an email to jimontheair@gmail.com. That's jimontheair@gmail.com. You can also find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Jim on the Air. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. Jim on the Air is a presentation of 5J's Media Production and was recorded earlier for presentation at this time.